The scent of polished wood and expensive coffee hung in the air, a sophisticated hush that Jordan Hale usually found reassuring. Today, it felt different, like a thin veneer stretched tight over something raw and aching. He had come for a blind date, a small favor to his friend Evan, but the woman across the small corner table near the window had whispered goodbye. Before ever saying hello, Claire Bennett. Her name rose slowly inside him, a faint echo from a past he had carefully locked away. She sat there, delicate and white, blonde hair catching the late afternoon light like a soft halo. Her blue-gray eyes looked weary, yet carried a fragile kind of strength that both drew him in and unsettled him deeply. "I'm just here to say thank you and goodbye," she had said. The words landed between them. Heavy, Binals, he studied her face, searching for the usual polite masks, the little social dances people perform, but there was only that serene, bittersweet smile, hiding an unspoken pain. And then he remembered, a quiet girl, always in the back row of the group home library, the one who never spoke, the one whose steady gaze had once made linger. Those extra 5 minutes, week after week, reading fairy tales aloud. Before, true to his old pattern, he simply moved on. The past was supposed to stay a locked room. "I didn't remember," he admitted, his voice rougher than he meant it to be. "Not until just now. But I do remember the way you sat in the back. You never spoke." "I didn't have to," Claire answered, her voice barely more than a breath. "You were already saying everything I needed to hear outside." A sudden downpour broke. It matched the storm rising inside his chest. They stepped out together. Claire stumbled. Her face went ashen. Before he could fully reach her, she collapsed. He caught her, his tailored jacket soaked through instantly, as he curved himself around her, shielding her from the rain. Inside the cafe, strangers turned, watching the city's coldest CEO cradle a fragile woman. With a tenderness no one had ever seen from him, he brought her home, to her small apartment that smelled faintly of vanilla and warmth. A tiny voice called out, "Mommy, are you home?" Then Maisie appeared, a riot of blonde curls, wide blue eyes, clutching her teddy bear like a lifeline. "You can stay, Mr. Stranger," Maisie declared solemnly. "Mommy says it's rude to leave someone alone in the rain." Claire stirred, eyes fluttering open. "Maisie, honey, say thank you to the man who helped Mommy." "Thank you, mister." Maisie beamed up at him. "You have kind eyes." Those 3 small words hit him like a fist to the center of his chest. Kind eyes. No one had ever said that to him before. He looked down at Maisie and saw more than a child. He saw the echo of that quiet library girl, the same deep hunger for safety. For someone who stays, something unfamiliar stirred inside him. A fierce instinct to protect, to be the person who makes this little girl feel safe. Maybe, just maybe, I can be that for her. The next day, he came back, arms full of groceries, vitamins, soup. Maisie launched herself at his leg, a small pink-clad missile of pure joy. "Mommy." "He's back." "Mommy, is he my daddy?" The room froze. Claire's cheeks flushed, her eyes glassy with sudden tears. Jordan knelt slowly, bringing himself to Maisie's level. "No, sweetheart," he whispered, voice low and steady. "I'm just a friend, but I'll always be here to help your mommy. Okay?" Maisie nodded, content, and as she scampered away, Jordan already knew he would come back tomorrow and the day after, not from duty, but from something deeper, something that felt dangerously like belonging. Maybe I can become someone who feels like home. That evening, the silence in the apartment was thick, charged. Jordan stood at the sink rinsing cups. Claire sat wrapped in a blanket, fingers trembling. "There's something I need to tell you," she said at last. Voice so soft it almost disappeared. "I have cancer. Stage 4. It's in my ovaries, and it's spreading." He turned slowly. Body very still. "They say maybe a few months, maybe a year. I've stopped counting." She didn't meet his eyes, staring instead at something far away. "I'm not afraid of dying," she confessed quietly. "I'm afraid of disappearing, of Macy growing up believing she wasn't worth staying for. I just needed someone to know." He stepped closer until the warmth of her body brushed against his. He looked into those shimmering eyes and recognized a loneliness that lived inside his own chest, a hunger for being truly seen that he had buried for years. He didn't speak. He didn't have to. His presence, solid, unwavering, became the only promise she needed right then. That night, he stayed until they were both asleep. He sat in the dark, listening to their soft breathing, the distant hum of the city, and he decided, without telling her, he called in every favor he had, sent her files to the best oncologist in Switzerland, wired the deposit. He wasn't just helping anymore. He was fighting. Days later, he sat beside her bed. "Do you want to live?" His voice was low, raw. She blinked, startled. "I'm not asking because I need you to fight," he continued. "I'm asking because no one should have to prepare for death without someone first asking if they want to stay." Claire's lips trembled. Tears slipped down her cheeks, not from despair, but from a deep, aching relief. "That's the first time," she whispered, "anyone's ever asked me that." He didn't answer with words. He had already begun giving her the answer. The months that followed blurred together. Airports, hospital corridors, the quiet hum of machines. He pushed her wheelchair through Leon's wards, stumbled over broken French, learned to make tasteless broth she could keep down. He told himself he was only helping, but somewhere between folding her scarves after chemo and brushing Maisie's curls into pigtails, the lines blurred completely. He belonged. One night, weak and pale, Claire whispered, "I don't want Maisie to remember me like this." He took her hand, held it gently. "She won't," he said simply. "She'll remember you as the bravest person she's ever known." At home, he became the quiet anchor. Meals, medicine, laundry, school runs. Maisie trailed him everywhere, her crayon drawings of their family 3-stick figures. A house with a red door pinned proudly to the fridge. Some nights, after Maisie slept, Claire rested her head against his chest, her breathing shallow, warm. They never spoke in those moments. They didn't need to. Love, he realized, hadn't arrived in a lightning strike. It had come thread by quiet thread, until he could no longer tell where caring ended, and something deeper began. Then the day arrived. The doctor smiled, holding the folder like it was made of light. "Your scans are clear. No signs of active cancer." Claire stared, lips parted, unable to speak. Jordan felt his knees buckle. He set Maisie down gently, then wrapped Claire in his arms. Tears fell freely. For life, for second chances, for quiet mornings in pink dresses, and Claire's hand finally safe in his. He had come to help. Somewhere along the way, he had found home. A year later, under cherry blossoms, surrounded by laughter and soft sunlight. Jordan knelt. Maisie, now 5, bright and bouncing, stood beside them, barely containing her excitement. "I know you didn't come into my life to fall in love," he began. Voice quiet, thick with feeling. "You came to say goodbye, and I came to that cafe thinking I was doing someone a favor. By simply showing up." He paused, ease never leaving hers. "But that day changed everything. You and Maisie taught me what it really means to stay, to feel, to belong." Claire's eyes shimmered. He drew a small velvet box from his pocket. The diamond inside caught every bit of light, holding 1,000 quiet promises. "I don't need perfect," he said. "I don't need promises you can't make. I just need this, to wake up every morning knowing we're still trying together." He glanced at Maisie, who was holding her breath. "So I'm asking you now, will you stay? Not just for today, but for every day after." Maisie burst out, "Say yes, Mommy, so we can all be a family." Claire nodded, her whisper almost lost in the breeze. "Yes?" He slipped the ring onto her finger. Maisie threw herself against their legs, holding them both so tightly. Under the cherry blossoms, finally, completely, together, they were home. The city faded behind them as they drove into soft green countryside. Jordan, once sharp-edged and corporate, now had wind-tousled hair, worn boots, and a gentle light in his eyes. He had traded power for presence, prestige for peace. He opened a small bookstore, The Promise. People wandered in for a novel and left with a conversation, and usually a smile. Claire became head librarian, her laughter filling the once quiet rooms. Maisie, now 6, skipped to school each morning, lunchbox packed by Dad. On quiet Sunday evenings, they sat together on the porch swing, Claire reading aloud, Jordan sipping coffee, Maisie doodling their white house with the red door. Always 3 stick figures laughing in the yard. Locals said they looked alike. The same soft light in their eyes, the same calm in their smiles. One evening, fireflies drifting through the tall grass. Claire leaned into him on the back steps, her head resting lightly on his shoulder. "Do you ever think about that day at the cafe?" she asked. Soft as a sigh, he smiled, gaze drifting far away, then returning to her every day. "The day I planned to say goodbye," she whispered, "turned out to be the day I found a family." He didn't speak. He simply held her hand a little tighter, and that was promise enough.